Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our full review of the Shokz OpenSwim Pro. So the OpenSwim Pro are a new addition to Shokz's range of bone conduction headphones. They're essentially the best bone conduction headphones in the brand's range now, and that's mainly because they offer two modes of playback, one via Bluetooth and one via MP3 storage. So headphones like the OpenRun and OpenRun Pro in the Shokz range are Bluetooth headphones, and they've also got the OpenSwim, which has MP3 storage on the headphones, so you can wear them while swimming, listen to music without needing Bluetooth, which doesn't really connect to devices if you're underwater. Shokz aren't the first brand to do this combination style of headphones. We've tested and reviewed sets like this from brands like Nyenka, but it's the first time Shokz has done it, and it creates a set of headphones that are obviously very good for multi-sport athletes who need that MP3 playback when they're swimming. But also as runners, I was a pretty big fan of the OpenSwim headphones in the past because having all your music on the headphones, I don't tend to carry a phone during races, for example. Having the music stored on headphones occasionally is really valuable, that you can play back without having to carry another media device. I said they're the top bone conduction headphones in the Shokz range, and that means they come with a higher price. They cost £169 or $180, which is the same price as the OpenRun Pro, but a fair bit more expensive than the OpenRun or OpenSwim headphones. Headphones have Shokz's standard bone conduction design, where you've got a nickel titanium alloy band which runs around the back of the head, and then you have two cheek pads that vibrate against the cheekbones and deliver music directly to your skull, so you can leave your ears entirely clear, which makes for greater awareness when you're outside. And then when you're swimming, the bone conduction delivers the audio without the need to stick anything in your ear that might slip out or not really fit correctly underwater. You have Shokz's usual button setup with a multifunction button on one side and then a volume up down button on the other side, which is also the power on and off button. Headphones are IP68 rated, which means they are fully waterproof. They can be submerged in depths of up to 2 meters for up to 2 hours, according to Shokz. And in order to be completely waterproof, the OpenSwim Pro have their own proprietary magnetic charging cable. It's actually different to the ones that you get with Shokz's other headphones. So if you do lose the cable for these headphones, you are going to have to buy another one. You can't swap in another cable at all. The headphones are very lightweight, weighing at just over 27 grams, and they offer 32 gigabytes of storage for your MP3 files, or indeed several other file types, including FLAC and M4A files, along with MP3.
So when it comes to design, the Shokz OpenSwim Pro are really nice and light and pretty minimal. If you're familiar with Shokz, you're getting a similar feel here to the OpenRun and the OpenRun Pro, with a sort of strokeably soft silicone coating that's really nice to the touch and sits comfortably against the skin. There's lots of flex in the neckband and in the ear hooks. It's more of a positive for durability than comfort, but that flex I do believe helps them cope a bit better if they're left loose in a gym bag, though you do get a soft carry case for added protection. Now, fit is nicely disappearing on the run, on the swim, and sat working in a cafe, and they worked okay with a running cap, less well with sunglasses or a cap and shades combo. Now, the MP3 music management is drag and drop easy to transfer files onto the headphones. You will need to connect to a computer to do it, and I found I wanted more control over the playlist, particularly once the music is loaded. There's no way to order the tracks in the app, and unless you're connected to a laptop, you can't see what's actually on the headphones. I also had to use an adapter to connect them to the Mac, and you need a charging cable, an adapter, and a laptop to do any kind of music tweaking with these headphones for that MP3 player. Essentially, you have to number your tracks in a folder on your computer to generate a playlist order. Otherwise, it dumps them over in alphabetical order in one big playlist. That somewhat makes the 8,000 track storage a little bit less useful. Now, the controls are simple and straightforward. The big multi-function button you've got on the side here is great and easy to find on the move. However, the two main control buttons for switching between swim to standard modes are a bit small and a touch fiddly, those volume controls. Another thing I spotted, that in MP3 mode, your phone volume buttons don't work. In the water, that's obviously not an issue, but on the run, it might be. It's a minor thing, but it did have me momentarily baffled when the volume indicator on my phone was going up and down, but the volume wasn't changing on the OpenSwim Pro. Also, in MP3 mode, long pressing the volume buttons, flipping between standard and swimming audio mode, I found it quite easy to press and hold one volume button too long and change modes accidentally. I'd like the option to customize or deactivate that. Another bugbear, not having a Mac compatible charging cable means I can't charge them via my MacBook or load music on without the adapter. On durability, I actually tested these out in an 80 to 90 degree sauna, which I'm probably not supposed to, and I wouldn't be recommending doing that. But I did two separate 15-minute stints in there while heat training for the comrades, and these survive both of them. They also don't leak audio in there, which is great.
So in terms of design, now it's very much in keeping with the Open Run series and also the Open Swim. So you're getting a neckband style design. I think it's a good weight. I think they're very comfortable. They don't jump around. They feel ideal for running, and I've had no problems in terms of using them for swimming as well too. There are some key things that have changed from the Open Swim, which I think are positives. So you are getting some additional controls here, controls that have been available on the Open Run series, but I think now that you're getting Bluetooth mode on the Open Swim Pro, it's good to have them here as well. So that's kind of that extra button you're getting on the outer of the headphones. You've still got those kind of physical controls on the underside of the right side like you do get on the Open Run series. And for me, the physical controls on the Shokz headphones in general are very good, and particularly when you're running, and they're easy to reach, easy to operate, easy to kind of differentiate between the buttons as well too. So those are all positives. I like the fact that the charging setup has slightly changed. It's still a proprietary charging cable, but you don't have to kind of stick it around that little box, the kind of arm of the headphones, to kind of charge them up and also to transfer music. So I think that's a step in the right direction here. So yeah, you're getting a similar design to the Open Run and Open Swim, but you're getting, crucially, that extra button that you do get in the Open Run series, and I think a change in the proprietary charging setup, which I think is a positive. All with those kind of good qualities of the Shokz headphones in terms of its neckband style design headphones that you'd want to see and make them ideal for running.
So looking at the design of the headphones, it's the standard Shokz one you get here. It's a very comfortable, lightweight set of headphones that you can quickly forget you're wearing on the run. I find they actually fit perfectly well if you are wearing glasses, a cap, sunglasses, all that kind of stuff. I tend to have a lot of stuff on my head when I'm running, so I usually wear either my glasses or sunglasses, and they didn't get in the way of these headphones at all, even when I was wearing a cap as well. Like I say, they're really comfortable and they stay in place very securely on the run. You've got the ear hook style and they just don't move around at all, so you can get a very reliable and comfortable fit from these headphones. I've also used them for swimming and other workouts, and yeah, they stay in place really well for everything. The buttons are also really good. Like if you've used any of Shokz headphones in the past, you'll be familiar with the buttons here. You've got the multifunction button on one side, the volume up and down on the other side. All of them are easy to hit when you're running or working out. You get little kind of notifications, either voice notifications or beeps, to make it clear that the headphones have registered your touches. So the controls are really good, the design's really good. It's very much par for the course with Shokz. There's nothing here I don't like or annoyed me at all on the run. So big thumbs up on that front.
So in terms of sound quality, we are dealing with bone conduction here. Now we are getting Shokz's 8th generation version of the bone conduction technology that it offers. So that's not the latest 9th generation technology that you do get in the Open Run Pro. Now you are getting 2 EQ modes for both modes. So for the Bluetooth mode, you're getting a kind of standard and vocal mode. For the swimming mode, or when you're using the MP3 player, you're getting a standard listening mode and a swimming listening mode as well too. That's the same as the Open Swim. Now in terms of my experience and how they've sounded, they sound very similar to the Shokz Open Swim, both in and out of the water. Now when I've been running with them, as I said, it's very much in keeping what I've used, or what I've heard, or what the kind of Open Run, particularly the Open Run and the Open Swim, deliver in terms of that performance. It's very well balanced. If you're using that standard mode, you get a more balanced sound, you get a little bit of that bass, you get a little bit extra, kind of just a little bit more of a versatile sound in general. You switch to that kind of more vocal focus mode. That's something you're gonna, when you kind of pare back that bass a little bit more of that warmth, and it kind of focuses on voice, and you get something that just works a bit better in terms of listening to podcasts and audiobooks. But ultimately the sound quality has definitely been in keeping with what I've experienced on the Open Swim and the Open Run. I think when I've used the headphones for swimming, and I've used it for pool swims and open water swims, I've actually preferred using the standard mode as opposed to the swimming modes. When I've gone swimming with them, I actually think the standard mode delivers a better performance. I listen to probably more up-tempo music generally when I'm swimming, and I feel like the extra warmth and bass isn't lost when you use that standard mode. So for me, I wouldn't, if you are going to swim with them, I wouldn't write off using the standard mode, because I think the swimming mode is good, maybe kind of clears things up a little bit, but I think in terms of overall warmth, which I kind of prefer, I think it's retained here. You do get that in that kind of standard mode when you are swimming. But from a running perspective, very similar in terms of overall performance and what you're getting from the Open Run and the Open Swim if you are just using them in that MP3 mode. So yeah, very familiar in terms of that sound experience. Very good, still up there with the best sounding bone conduction and open ear headphones that I've used.
Sound quality on the headphones has been the usual Shokz experience again for me. I think they are equivalent in sound quality to the other headphones in the range, either the Open Run or Open Run Pro, or the OpenSwim if you're using them in the water. They do sound very good in the water. Like, it's obviously, this is a running channel, but when you go for a swim with them, it's really hard not to be impressed at how good they sound when they're submerged. When you are out on the run, you are going to have the extra awareness, which is great, but it comes with the downside of the headphones can be drowned out if you're running in busy environments, and there's just not really much you can be able to do about that. Like, if you listen to a podcast or your music and you go and end up running by a busy road, which I do sometimes, it's just going to get drowned out a little bit. It can be a little bit hard to follow what people are saying in podcasts, and the music just obviously isn't as punchy and motivating as you get with in-ear headphones or open-ear headphones like the OpenFit from Shokz. So there are downsides for sure to this design. If you're going to use these headphones in very noisy races like the London Marathon, I think it can be hard to hear your audio at times, but for the most part, there is a great way to listen to music and podcasts on the run. Like, you are getting a drop in sound quality compared to in-ear headphones, but if you're in quiet environments, the music still sounds pretty good. Like, I was sitting using these at my desk today while working, and they, sound pretty good even there. Like, I would prefer to be listening to in-ear headphones or even open headphones, but it's not that bad. And if you are someone who mostly listens to podcasts on the run, just runs in suburbs or out in nature, you are going to get a perfectly good listening experience here with the bonus of all that extra awareness and the really comfortable fit.
Speaking of audio and sound, you're not buying bone conduction headphones for top draw sound quality, and on the run out of the water, the OpenSwim Pro offer fairly expected audio performance for bone conductors. Overall, it's a bit thin, lacking in bass compared to regular buds, and I found it tickly at top volume. I find I have to crank it up to that top volume quite often to get the kind of pants kick punch that I really like when running. I also found some of the really bassy tracks distorted at top volume. However, overall, I'd say the sound delivers what you'd expect from bone conductions. It's largely enjoyable to listen to. I found it was better underwater where you're isolated from the outside noise more. In the water though, I struggled to discern a huge difference between the swimming and standard modes, but the audio was nice and full, unless you're kind of doing breaststroke where you get this kind of weird switch up in sound every time you lift your head out of the water. Other things to note, you're obviously getting no active noise cancellation here, and there's also no EQ customization for these either. Now, when it comes to battery life, in my tests, a 2-hour swim in MP3 mode burned 40%, while a 1-hour run in Bluetooth mode burned less than 10%. These have been somewhat marketed as a good trail or ultra option where you can run phone through using the MP3 players. British ultra runner Tom Evans was actually at the launch, but for most runners, the not so speedy at least, the 9-hour Bluetooth and 6-hour MP3 staying power with no charging case probably restricts these to use over like 50k ultras. I'm about to go and run the 85km Comrades, and I'll hopefully be on the edge of a sub 9 hour, and I don't think I'm going to risk these. Though the rapid charge here is excellent too, with 3 hours charge for 10 minutes on the plug, so if you can get them to accrue for a recharge, that could be a way to make it work.
So the battery life on the OpenSwim Pro will depend on the mode you're using them. The listed stats are 9 hours if you're using them in Bluetooth mode and 6 hours in MP3 mode. When looking at my use, I found that the battery life was draining at a rate faster than would be suggested by those listed times, and that's usually the case with Shokz, I find. If you have the volume up quite loud and you're listening to music, the battery life drains faster. I think Shokz's estimates basically are a mid-volume level of music, and with open headphones, I think if you are going outside, you nearly always have to have the volume up very high, so the battery does drain a bit quicker. And if you are using the MP3 mode for a marathon or a really long bike ride or something like that, I think you'd have to be a bit cautious about not having the volume too high if you wanted to hit 5 or 6 hours, because it will drain a bit quicker if you do pump up the volume. You can get better battery life within Shokz's range from something like the Open Run Pro, and the OpenSwim offer more MP3 playback, but it's pretty good battery life considering you have those two different modes, and they are still a very lightweight and small set of headphones. And for my use, it would always be enough battery life to get me through even my longest runs if I wanted to just use the MP3 mode. So as long as you take into account that the battery life will drain a bit faster than Shokz suggests if you have the volume raised quite high, I think the battery life is pretty good on these headphones.
So in terms of battery life, there's two ways to look at it, and it really kind of boils down to what or how you're going to listen and stream your music or audio. Now, if you're going to use it in the kind of Bluetooth mode, you're going to see more battery life than you would get from a single charge off using the kind of music player mode, and that's ultimately what we saw with the OpenSwim. I mean, obviously, I didn't have Bluetooth, but when you use that music player, it does drain the battery quicker than kind of Shokz headphones that are just built for Bluetooth streaming. Now, what I found in general when I've kind of used them for maybe an hour of running in that Bluetooth mode, the battery life drop off has been maybe 15 to 20%. I think I had, but also I found it a little bit consistent in terms of using the Bluetooth and the MP3 kind of streaming, where Maybe I've used the MP3 streaming for an hour of swimming and it's dropped by 10%. I've used it other times when I've been out for a run and it after a similar amount of time, it's dropped by about 40%. So there's some weird inconsistencies that I've seen in terms of using the Bluetooth and the MP3 and kind of music player streaming. I think the key thing here as well to add is that you're now getting a fast charge mode, which you didn't have on the OpenSwim. So that's definitely an extra added thing that I think is worth, it's going to probably give you a reason to upgrade from the OpenSwim because, as I said, the music player does drain the battery life quicker, and now you're getting a quick charge mode that can help boost that battery life to get it back up to where you need it to be. So my verdict on the Shokz OpenSwim Pro and whether runners should grab these headphones, I would say, ultimately it is given what I think most people, including myself, have asked from the OpenSwim, and that is the option to have Bluetooth and kind of music player streaming. You're getting more storage as well too, and I think the sound performance and everything that you're getting from a design point of view is everything you'd want it to be from a good set of comfortable kind of running headphones that you can also swim with as well. Now, what the pricing of the OpenSwim Pro does is kind of put it up against the Open Run Pro and not really the OpenSwim, which is going to be slightly less or stay around at slightly less than the OpenSwim Pro. And for me, I think, you're looking at what are the key differences here, because I think from a design point of view, they're very similar. The controls, I think for me, while the Shokz Open Run Pro has that kind of later kind of bone conduction technology, I don't think it's a massive difference in terms of the sound performance you're getting here. And with the OpenSwim Pro, you're getting something that's more protected against water. You're getting obviously those options to, listen from Bluetooth or from a music player. So it feels like if you wanted the luxury of those two things and you wanted all the good qualities of the Open Run Pro, then you should probably go for the OpenSwim Pro, give you that better level of durability and all the good things from the Open Run Pro for a similar amount of money. Now, if we're looking at what else is out there in terms of headphones that offer that kind of Bluetooth streaming and that music player support, and also something that you can use for swimming. Now, I've tested a lot of these. I think in terms of the ones that have really stood out for me that I think kind of would go up against the Shokz OpenSwim Pro are going to be things like the Nianka Runner Diver. I've used the Runner Diver, not the Runner Diver 2. Those are very good. I think, similar level of kind of sound quality, maybe slightly bulkier design. There's things like the Majoa Runner Plus. There's also the Majoa Hat-Fit Terra, which is coming out. I'll have those in to test. Those are a lot more expensive, but the Majoa Run Plus can work for swimming as well too, and it's designed for running. Would I go for those headphones right now compared to the OpenSwim Pro? Something that works for runs and for swims, then I would be going for the OpenSwim Pro. I use the OpenSwim long term. If I've grabbed or wanted to grab a pair of bone conduction Bluetooth streaming headphones, I always kind of opt or kind of lean towards Shokz's Open Run headphones. So now that you have them two in a package and at a price that kind of rivals the Open Run Pro and matches up against other Bluetooth and music player streaming headphones, and I think Shokz has got a good package to go up against competition and also compete with other headphones in its family.
So I think the OpenSwim Pro are the best bone conduction headphones I've tested, and if you are in need of headphones that can go in and out of the water like these can, then they are really impressive. They work very well, they're comfortable to wear, the controls are very good, the sound quality is good for bone conduction headphones, and the addition of that MP3 mode, or the combination of it with the Bluetooth mode, means that they're going to be very useful to lots of people, I think. Like, not just people who go swimming as well as running. Like I say, when I'm running races, I have used the OpenSwim before from Shokz just to have all my music stored around my head without the need to carry a phone. And now with these headphones, you can use them for all your training as well when you are using your phone, and then on the race day, just load up a playlist or a podcast and not need to take your phone with you. So they're a good solution. They are very expensive though, and if you're not going to be going in and out of the water with them, I'd say you're probably going to get better value from another set of headphones. The Open Run in particular from Shokz are just as good as these for running use, I think. And actually I slightly prefer them because you can get a mini version where the band sits a bit close to the back of your head, which I find just a better fit than the larger band you have with the OpenSwim Pro here. I will say, if you do want that combination of Bluetooth and MP3, you can get cheaper sets from a brand like Nianka, which offer dual playback like that. I think Shokz's headphones are better. I think they sound better. I think the design and the fit is a bit better, but the Nianka headphones all round will do the job as well. So they are expensive. I do think they're the best on the market. I just think for most people, and especially runners, you probably are going to get better value by looking at another set of headphones. And if you just exclusively swim, then you probably just want the OpenSwim, because again, they're a fair bit cheaper, but that extra flexibility you have with these headphones is certainly very valuable. And you could say, I suppose, as a runner, that if you got these, you'd be future-proofing yourself against the fact that one day you're going to have to be a swimmer, because what do we do when we get too injured to run and cycle? We end up swimming. And although I do think swimming is dreadful, even I go for a swim occasionally, and if I'm injured, I do it a bit more. So having a set of headphones you can go into the water with, I think is very handy. So yeah, really good set of headphones. I think it's a needed addition to Shokz's range. The price is high though, probably a better value for you if you work out your exact situation, but for lots of people these will be perfect.
Verdict then, and the big update here is obviously adding Bluetooth, so you've got the best of both worlds in and out of the water. It was a big omission on the original OpenSwim, and if you run and swim, it instantly makes the OpenSwim Pro worth an upgrade from those OpenSwim. If you're a duathlete, swim bike runner, these are also your best Shokz options. If you want to run phone 3, these now have you covered as well. And that 2-for-1 functionality is an enticing USP over regular in-ear buds and bone conductors, though you'll pay a chunk more for those extra smarts. Comfort is great, nicely light and disappearing. For me, the sound is pretty standard Shokz quality, good for bone conduction, better in the water than on dry land, but you're obviously making trade-offs on top volume and richness for that bone conduction awareness. The big increase in MP3 storage is welcome, though the lack of playlist management somewhat limits how useful that really is. I really wish there was a USB-C charging cable as well. The price is fairly high also, but if you're looking for that fairly unique USP of best of both worlds, MP3 and Bluetooth, soundtracks in the water and on dry land, I think the OpenSwim Pro represent pretty good value.
That's our review of the Shokz OpenSwim Pro. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.